Hi, today's date is the 16th of August 2018. Now, today I have a little bit different from the bullet games or blitz games that I've been playing on chess.com. I have today been given a game that I looked at last night at the Canterbury Chess Club, a match game between the two top players, more or less for a match game at least. And black is Nick Cummings. Now Nick has derived from England, Cornwall, England, some many years ago, and so we're similar ages, and he's a fantastic bloke, a lot taller than me, with probably more hair than me, and he is a very strong chess player, and also marathon runner and everything else like that. So he's got a few things to his bow, or to his quiver. He has a few things in his quiver. Now, here is a match game that occurred between him and the top player from Canterbury Chess, HeHe Master, but I can't mention his name without previous prior approval, which I haven't got. So this is the champion of the club, HeHe Master, playing the white pieces in a 1 hour 15 plus 20 or 30 second increments per move thereof. So someone comes along to the chess clock, and every time someone makes a move, they add the 20 seconds or 30 seconds to the clock manually, of course, not. So anyway, here is a game. Now this is quite interesting because Nick came to me last night and he was going like this or whatever he was doing. He wasn't doing it like I did just then, but he came to me last night and he was looking quite excited and everything like that, and I looked to the board and I thought, well, it looks, I didn't expect to count the pieces. So that was like quite into the game that he came and was quite jolly. And so he came to me with this, with a big gleam and happy look on his face, sorry to his opponent, to his HeHe Master opponent, but that's what he did. He did a bit of table talking, and I subsequently looked at it, and I thought, what? I don't see anything funny here, anything good here, which is quite funny because he ends up with a quick material advantage, as you will soon see. So Nick Cummings is black, and he's very highly rated in New Zealand, as well as he's highly rated as a person, way better than I am. So he's highly rated in New Zealand chess, as a number of you would appreciate. So here is white. We're looking at it from white's point of view. So we're looking at it from not the best point of view in the world. Now, so we have knight c3. Don't ask me what this is called, but it can transpose. So Nick plays a6 on move 2, which is typically English, may I say, and Basman from England and other English greats have played unorthodox moves like this, Owens and all that sort of thing, defense. So e4, and now comes b5. So we're going into a kind of a even Polish, you know, like we could just about call this a kind of a Polish for black. So bishop d3, which reminds me, a lady who, the food truck I go to in the Cathedral Square, fantastic food, and she has an apron. She's Polish. She has an apron. It says on the apron for her when she's cooking these delectable potato pancakes filled with beef goulash, and that it melts in your mouth. She has on her apron saying, "I don't need a recipe, I'm Polish." So bishop b7, and this all looks quite okay for white and black. c5. So all of a sudden black's threatening sort of things here. castles. c4. Now this forces the bishop back to e2, of course, and now comes b4. So I wasn't actually aware what was going on in the opening because I didn't look, and one doesn't expect to see things not very good for such a strong master that white is here in this case. Knight a4, now we have the bishop e4, bishop c4, so this is quite simple, of course, I believe. Queen c7, rook e1, counter-attacking the bishop on e4 for the bishop on c4, queen c4, knight b6. Now I haven't actually looked at this, but I'd have to wonder why rook e4 doesn't occur here, because knight b6 here looks to me, to my eye, a blunder, but I may be missing something simple. So knight b6, and I don't like this move. I think here just queen c6 was played, but I would probably here with play queen c7 if I'm correct. So that if knight a8, I don't know, I haven't analysed it, knight a8, obviously I'm not very good, bishop a8, and white is material down without going into detail. But Nick played queen c6, which is fair enough because it's defending his bishop on e4, knight a8, queen a8. And so here I looked at this position a few moves later, and it looked really good for white, but I wasn't ascertaining that white is actually material down. So here, quite clearly, as far as I'm concerned, if I was black, given the information I've just said, I'd probably just play bishop f3, etc. So that's my choice here. Knight e4, knight f6 is equally good because it develops, and it also protects the bishop on e4 if the queen wants to take the bishop on b8, if you get what I mean. c4, and no en passant, just bishop e7, so Nick is carrying on with normal sensible development. d5. Now soon it was that I saw this position, and these guys take ages to play the first 10 moves. Castles and knight g5. So I was looking at it here and I was thinking, wow, this looks really good for white. Bishop g6 and queen d4, and my move would be probably no good, d6. But queen d4, rook c8, d6. Now this is when I saw this position at one point at least, and I thought, wow, this is good for white. So when I heard that Nick came around and was sort of like very happy, I thought, what's changed? How can the champion stuff this up? So just white's playing a bit overprotectively, which is or protecting their whatever advance. So I was seeing it all here and I was thinking, oh, this looks really good for white. I didn't count the pieces, as I've already mentioned. Knight h5 and knight e4, knight f4, queen f4. And here's another point that I saw this, and this is, I believe, the time that Nick came to me and he was looking very happy with himself, but I just didn't understand what he was talking about, because I looked at this position, I thought, well, no, you're not going to win the knight, Nick, because the queen can just come back here, duh, you know, and that sort of thing. So anyway, b3, queen e5, and now still the same thing. So bishop h4, another thing goes off the board, which is in black's favour. g3, bishop d8. So we have a typical English flavour to the way that they beat the Russians. That Grandmaster or Super Grandmaster Anthony Miles, or Tony Miles, who's died of course some years ago, would play against the Russians rather unorthodoxly, and he beat Karpov of course with e4, and he was black. He played against Karpov a6. Famous game, but it's a long time ago that game was played. Knight c5, queen e3, rook e3, bishop b6, ouch. Knight d7, bishop e3, black is ruthless. fe3, rook d8, don't I know it. Knight c5, rook d6, and white can probably, fair enough, resign here. Knight a6, king f8, and that is the end of the session. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope I don't get in trouble for any name dropping, but I've been told it's okay from Nick Cummings. And incidentally, I saw a Nick Cummings on the Evade the Authorities program, and he was first equal in the British program, but we're talking about a different Nick Cummings. So this Nick here is a fantastic, strong chess player, and we go back a long way. So he's a very good competition player, very feisty in his play. So thank you very much for visiting my YouTube channel. I hope you enjoyed today's game, and I bid you all farewell, and I'll just make sure I say now that's over and out from the Muppet Show at David Weegenaar's place in Christchurch, New Zealand, and it's sort of pretty reasonable weather, but who cares about the weather. Thank you very much all. Amen. Bye bye.